All right, cool. So we're gonna do a breakdown here on the trade that we took this morning with gold that we closed out at 700 pips. I called it out for free. On top of that, I'm gonna give you guys the analysis on what I'm looking at for this Asian session. Going based on here, I already have the setup marked up. Just want to give you guys the analysis and explain to you guys why I'm looking for this trade. But what I'm looking at for this Asian session, I'm looking for price to give me a pullback here so that we can take a sell, or we're going to be taking a sell at a higher position, which is going to be this exact level. I'm going to give you guys the analysis, explaining to you guys why I'm looking for the sells. But let's first start with the buy position that we took here that did play out very nice at a 700 pip. So this is all going based on higher time frame structure, right, from the daily time frame. Now, if you guys take a look here at the left side, right when price action has this huge push towards the downside, right? Whenever there's a huge push like this, right, it can be opposite side, it can be bullish side or the bearish side, right? That means that there's a lot of orders being placed, right? And these orders, notice how on the daily time frame, there's never pullback towards these levels. It was just one straight shot towards the downside, right? And now, whenever we have straight shots towards the downside, we're building up imbalance area, right? Imbalance zones are going to be known as fair value gap zones, right? These are the zones that price action is going to be using as magnets, right? So over here, I'm going to give you guys an example. In trading, right, we don't only retest structures, right? Structure are just based on technical analysis, right? But if you guys go deeper into that, then you guys will really understand where the orders are really being placed at and how exactly can you use that as to continue, going with the direction. So for example, right over here, we have a broken structure, right? But if you guys take a look down over here, we have more than just a break of structure. We have a break of structure above these exact highs right here, right? But underneath, we have the exact zone that price first anticipated this entire push that has to be retested, right? So if you guys have taken the trade before, maybe if you guys have taken a buy position in this case, and you guys probably would have entered the trade right above here. And then you notice that price pushes up, but then takes you guys out of stop loss and then pushes back towards the upside. That's exactly how these imbalance zones are working, right? These are just more than just retesting the structure. In this case here, you're retesting imbalance area where the orders were first placed. So there's need to be liquidity around these areas, right? So pretty much taking underneath all of these entire lows here, which is known as retail trades, right? And then we need liquidity grab and we need to fill up this entire gap. This gap over here, once it gets filled up and we get the actual, structure building up, then that's exactly where we want to take the trade. So for example, over here, we're looking at all of this entire bearish imbalance, right? And if you guys take a look at this structure here, we also have bullish imbalance, right? Now, going based on the trade that we took yesterday was reacting off the imbalance that we created last week that price has now pulled back into, right? So for example, right over here, we have a bearish imbalance. So we're going to touch from this wick here all the way from this wick here. And notice exactly how price we broke underneath and then we came back to retest it. Right over here, this is exactly where price had a reaction from it. We had a reaction from it and then price sold off. Now, if you guys take a look at this structure over here, right, this is a bullish structure. We also have the same exact pattern. So we have a bullish imbalance, which is going to be from this wick here all the way to this wick right here. And notice how price at this point over here, we're just fighting from structure. We're reacting from bearish structure and we're also reacting from bullish structure. Now, here, why did the bullish played out more than the bearish price action, right? And now if you guys take a look here, notice this entire price action, what we were building. We were building simply, bullish structure, which is creating higher highs and higher low structures, right? So check this out. This all started from the bottom over here. We reacted from this exact level and then price started creating new highs, new lows, new higher highs, new higher lows, new higher highs, new higher lows, new higher highs, higher lows, and then higher highs, right? This entire push towards the upside. This entire push towards the upside, we end up taking above all of these entire highs, right? So all you guys want to do is just mark up from here, just kind of drag it a little bit down over here. And this is the exact level that price was basically building up in area of support. So you guys are going to zoom this out all the way to the left side. Let me just delete this for now. Just like this. So this here is known as a break of structure. So we're going to have that as highlighted. This is known as the break of structure. And then this was the new high that price action was building up. So this is going based on intraday structure, right? Now, we're going here on the 4-hour time frame. What happened on the 4-hour? Notice how we broke above structure. Usually whenever price is going any direction, it can be from highs to low. We always need pullback. The pullback will always confirm that the structure is correct. So for example, we had a push, we did have the reaction from this bearish imbalance, but notice how price came back to retest. What exactly did we retest? We retested this entire broken structure. On top of that, if you guys take a look here on the 4-hour time frame, this does not only happen on the daily, it happens in every single time frame. If you guys take a look here on the 4-hour time frame, what do we have? We have another bullish imbalance. That was the original move that happened towards the upside. So check this out. This right here, it was the original move that pushed this all the way over here. This was the candle that had, or pretty much the candle that directed the move all the way back towards the upside. So we're going to grab this rectangle. We're going to put it from this wick all the way from this wick here. And then notice how price pulled back. We did not just pull back towards the exact structure. We also pulled back towards this exact imbalance. And then notice how price is just having a nice wick rejection. This wick rejection right over here was the confirmation. It's showing us that, hey, the bullish is more powerful as of right now. There's more volume in bullish than in bearish, right? And we can confirm that as well on the daily time frame. Notice how on the daily time frame, we came back to retest a broken structure. We came back to retest this entire bullish imbalance zone. And we also we did fully wicked it and closed above it. You guys can see this on the daily time frame. This here also confirmed it. Now, if we take a look here on the daily time frame, you guys can see that price was pretty much reacting from levels to levels. We were still indecisive at this point here, right? Because we rejected this one, caused some bearish price action. We rejected from this one, caused some bullish price actions, right? Now, going into the hourly time frame, you guys can clearly see how price was just reacting. We were just trading from levels to level. We have a high, we had a low, we had a high, we had a low, we had a high, and we had a low. Price was just ranging at this point, right? Until we finally broke back above. We broke back above. What happens next? Price broke above these highs here. Cool. Once we broke above these highs over here, what else did we build up? We build up another imbalance area from this exact zone. This is exactly the level that price came back to retest. You guys can take a look at this at the 4-hour time frame from this exact candle all the way from this wick here. And this is exact another imbalance zone. On top of that, notice how we have a gap. The market is not just going to take off just by one here if it's building up proper price actions, right? In this case over here, we broke above it. Price has to come back to fill up the entire gap and then push the market back towards the upside. So we reacted, or pretty much we did a deep analysis on this exact bullish move. We reacted from this entire push here. We reacted from this entire push here. And now we're basically catching the next leg. So for example, this was the first leg, the first confirmation, the first leg, and the first push. We have the second confirmation, the first push, and now the second leg. So we have one push, first leg, second push, second leg, right? So now we're retesting structure, which is this entire broken structure. On top of that, we're coming back to fill up this entire gap. Now, take a look here on the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, we had rejection. We had rejection, and we also had rejection, showing us that this exact level here, if you guys go from the intraday time frame, we're respecting it, using it as area of support. Now, how exactly did I catch my entry? This is all based on lower time frame structure, right? This was a kind of risky trade because, again, if you guys take a look from this exact pattern here, we were kind of selling off, right? So we're going based on intraday time frame versus higher time frame, right? Now, over here, my exact entry confirmation was just basically here how price was just maintaining above it. There was so much rejection towards the downside. So once we first had that exact first push here on during the Asian session, which was this push here, that's exactly where I ended up setting up my buy limit, which is exactly at this area of support. So I set up a buy limit. My stop loss was underneath these exact lows. And notice how price triggered it, and we perfectly played out towards the upside. So this was all based on price action that happened here, just filling up the gap and showing us multiple rejection. Now, we're going to take a look at the high that price created here, right? If we go here on the 4-hour time frame, right, this is exactly the high. Let me just delete all of this so it does not look messy. So keep this in mind. Remember, we are still reacting from this entire bearish imbalance on the 4-hour time frame and also on the daily time frame, right? Now, notice here on the daily time frame how we had a nice push towards the upside. And notice how price always simply did it, just grab liquidity, showing us that this entire bearish imbalance is now respecting. So remember, this was a play that I explained to you guys probably 2 weeks ago, right? I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago that I was waiting for price to come back towards this area, which is just simply manipulating all of this entire high so that we can have the move back towards the downside. Because again, daily time frame, weekly time frame. We're still reacting from this entire bearish. We're still recovering from this entire bearish structure that happened to last month, right? So if we take a look here on the 4-hour time frame, we did break above these highs, which was simply liquidity grab. We tapped into the structure, and then price started setting off. All of this entire buy structure, we're just all taking it from an intraday zone, right? The intraday is giving us more buying position than the daily time frame is, right? But now, looking at the daily time frame and how exactly daily closed here on Wednesday. And on top of that, if you guys take a look at today's daily time frame, how we close, right? Let me just close this off. Notice how we close weak towards the upside, respecting this entire structure. Going down here on the 4-hour time frame, right? Check this out. Here on the 4-hour time frame, let's just delete this. Here in the 4-hour time frame, price came back towards the exact level here, which is exactly where price sold off last night during the Asian session, or not last night, during the New York session of yesterday. This is exactly where price sold off. Price came back. What happens next? We respected it. Resistance and resistance. Price never broke above it. So this is exactly where we're going to be anticipating our trade. We have this bearish imbalance here, right? So we have this bearish imbalance here at this point here. I'm just waiting for price to come back and retest it. Once we retest, reject, that's exactly where I'm going to be taking my trade. That's the first position. If price happens to break above these highs, then my next level is going to be this exact one here. Now, if price continues pushing higher and we close above here or we close above here, then obviously the bearish price action is no longer valid from the higher time frame. So I'm taking this trade based on the daily, how daily is pretty much closing. So I'm taking the trade from the daily time frame. But if price action just, disrespects all of this and continue breaking highs, then the next zone that I'll be looking for sells would definitely be around this one, which is another bearish imbalance. So what I like right now, as of right now on the daily time frame, is just how we have a wick rejection. We took above these highs here, which was a liquidity grab. We tapped in towards the structure and we closed underneath. Today's daily, we closed underneath, showing us weak push towards the upside. So it's already showing us that bearish, that the sellers are trying to step into the market. And notice how this daily candle just opened up, and we did open up bearish with no wick towards the upside. All we're just waiting for right now is just for liquidity to step in. So all I'm waiting for is just for the pullback towards this exact candle here, which is this entire bearish imbalance, the rejection, stop loss above highs, and then we take the sells. If not, this is going to be the next zone for us. So this is exactly the trade that we took today and the exact setup that we're looking for right now. So I'm going to be sending this out as a free signal, so make sure you guys stay tuned.